I was entering high school, and I had these two best friends. One of them moved to Ohio freshman year, and then the other one moved to a different town in Massachusetts. And we were the best friends that stuck together through everything. And when I went into high school, I was kind of going into high school alone. And that was really hard for me because I didn't know where to go. And basically, if you were to meet me last year around this time, I was very different. I was tired and didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to turn to, and I became suicidal. When I started cutting, I did it once a week, once a month, or very little at first. That was freshman year. And then I started doing it more and more until the point it was sophomore year, and it was about 5 or 6 times a day. I couldn't stop. I really didn't want to stop. It's what gave me a sense of control in my life. So I decided maybe camp will distract me from everything. But it's the hardest thing working at camp when you're not a Christian. A lot of kids would come and talk to me, and they would say, "When did you become a Christian?" And that was the hardest thing for me because I wasn't. I wasn't a Christian. And I would say something along the lines of, I grew up in a Christian home, so I've always been one. After camp, I was all alone for a week at home. My parents had VBS and a few other things, and they weren't really paying attention, close attention to me, because they thought I was okay. And my mom figured out something was wrong. She came up and talked to me, and she's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Nothing. I'm fine. I'm just upset camp's over." And she kind of took that answer, but I don't think she really believed me. A few days after that, she decided to call up McLean Hospital, and I went for a meeting with them, and they said I was too unstable to go into their day program. When I was in the hospital, my parents, being who they are, they brought me a Bible. And then my parents said something to me. They were saying, I don't care how long this takes, but we will get you to be better. And I never believed them. I had nothing to do that night, so I'm like, why not just look in the Bible? Maybe there's a thing to all this they're talking about. And I found this one verse, and ever since I've read it, it's been a huge part of my life, and it's John 16:33, and it says, "I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world." When I got out of the hospital, I kept that verse in my head, and I kept reading the Bible, and then along the way I've gotten a lot better. That was August 28th of last year, and now I'm a very strong Christian, and I'm working at Camp Wonderland again, but it's a lot different this year in a good way. I'm a Christian, and when kids ask me those questions, I can answer them. And I had a camper come up to me who looked at my arms and said, "What's that?" They're just scars I have. And she goes, "Where are they from?" And I'm like, "Just some accidents I've had." Then she goes, "Well, I have them too." And I was like, "Oh, you fell too?" And she goes, "No, I was in the hospital. I was in the hospital with you." And I looked at her and I go, "What?" My gosh, I was in the hospital with this 12-year-old girl who now is a camper at Camp Wonderland. And she came up and gave me a huge hug, and she said, "I'm a Christian now." And I'm like, I go, "Oh my gosh." It's amazing that what God has done in my life and in hers. And I just think about all the lives that he can be changing, because I know for a fact that he does give people the strength to prevail.